In this video, we are going to learn what will happen to the prices of petrol and diesel if it is brought under GST. It is generally believed that if the government brings petrol and diesel prices under GST, then somehow it will bring down its retail price. Do you believe it is true? And if it is true, then there has to be some conditions, right? Because there is no such thing as free lunch. No government in the world wants to cut down on that sort of revenue. The revenue earned by taxing petrol and diesel is in trillion. In 2019 and 20, the government of India had earned around 4.24 trillion rupees by taxing petroleum products. You see, it's a quick and easy way of earning so much of tax revenue because fuel is a necessity. Now let's see whether it is right to assume that if the prices of petrol and diesel is brought under GST, then will it bring down its retail price? First, let me show you the price breakup for petrol and diesel. I'm going to take the example of Delhi. As you may know, the prices of fuel varies from state to state. So the numbers for this example may vary from state to state, but the logic stays the same. You will see that there is VAT plus excise duty plus dealer's commission. You have to understand one thing, that the prices of fuel is governed by international market. That means even if the price of crude oil per barrel is low, the end consumer does not get the benefit. It is because fuel prices fluctuates frequently. That means when the prices of crude oil per barrel is low, the profit that is earned by the government is used to balance the losses during falling oil market. Basically, the government never reduces the tax even when the prices of crude oil per barrel is low in the international market. Simply because the profit that is earned, the government uses that to balance its fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit means the difference between any government's revenue and expenditure. If the expenditure is higher than the revenue, then obviously there is going to be huge fiscal deficit. So to lower that gap, government never passes on the benefit of low fuel prices to the end consumer. Anyhow, so the total tax on petrol in Delhi works out to 53.94 rupees per litre. That is 32.90 rupees excise duty plus 21.04 rupees value added tax. The central government tax is called excise duty and the state government does it in the name of value added tax. If you notice, more than half of the fuel price is made up of taxes. That means if you only take the total tax of petrol and then if you divide that with the petrol price charged to dealers and then multiply it with 100, you will get 160%. Hence, the total tax on petrol works out to around 161% of the price charged to dealers. Now, when it comes to GST, there are 4 slabs: 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. The most used slabs are 12%, 18% and 28%. Now compare it and see where is 160% and where is 12%, 18% and 28%. None of the GST rates is anywhere close to the actual tax which the government gets from petrol and diesel right now. That means if the prices of petrol and diesel comes under GST, at these rates, the government won't even earn a fraction of taxes that they are currently earning. No doubt, if the prices of petrol and diesel is brought under GST, that is going to be a good thing for the end consumer. But then do you think the government wants to kill that sort of easy tax revenue? It can only be possible if the government finds an alternative. In other words, if the government's dependency on taxes earned from fuel comes down or gets replaced by some other product. Or in a much more perfect scenario, let's assume that the Indian economy becomes so strong and it is thriving like anything. Only then it will be practical for the government to bring petrol and diesel under GST. There is also another way. Although it is not a good option, but then the government has the right to do anything. So what the government can do is, it can bring fuel under GST, let's say under 28% tax slab, which is the maximum. Along with it, the government also has to come up with an indirect tax that has to be equal to or higher than 100%. This way, 128% tax is less than present 160% tax. But introducing an indirect tax can easily be a reason for the opposition to blame the ruling government for not being suitable. It can turn out to be a political suicide for the ruling government. But one thing you have to understand is that to bring down the prices of fuel, the tax cut has to be discussed and coordinated by both the center as well as the states. Petrol and diesel prices are at all-time high in India, even when the international crude prices are around $67 to $68 per barrel, which is actually low. So you see, it is not a good thing. In the end, all you have to know is that The central government, the state governments, and the GST council has to sit and decide what to do and how to do it.